Futures and forex trading contains substantial risk and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please take a moment to review the full disclaimer. Hello traders, Kevin from chartspots.com. Today we'll have a look at the profile of the DAX. And looking back at the past couple of weeks, they for sure have been interesting. We've had our official correction, as in a 10% drop, so that caused quite some volatility in the markets. As you for sure will have noticed, a lot of opportunities there. We do seem to be stabilizing a bit, certainly the past week. So with that said, let's move on to the charts and see what we can derive from the auction that has been taking place and how we are looking forward. Okay, looking at the weekly chart, so I have this range bound volume profile set up here, which starts at this rally and currently ends at this week. So what I had mentioned about it before in my previous profiling videos is that this area was looking rather suspect, as it being tested multiple times, often having an equal low that typically doesn't hold very well. I also mentioned that the profile was looking rather thin below, so it was not well developed during this uptrend. Of course, we did have some development here, but for this purpose I don't take that into account. And when we eventually got the sell-off, that's indeed the area where we traveled through, and we kind of stopped at this same support area as last time, which again looks a bit suspicious. So let's have a look how the profile evolved over the past few weeks. So you see we have been filling it in, and meanwhile you can see that we have been time framing up again. And what is also important to see here is we have an equal high, more or less. So with that in mind, considering we closed near the high of the week and have been consolidating in this area for quite some time now, it does seem to me that we will test higher, which of course might bring this what was previous support area into play next week. Looking at the range, it's definitely possible that we go for a test up there, and that would be quite an important point. So let me remove that, because if we break through here on good volume, we're again in this larger distribution where we have a prominent POC, which will attract prices to it. What I wanted to have a look at is the retracement Coincidentally, the 50 retrace is around the same level, so that's around the 12,750, which is also the value area low of this complete data set. So that's definitely an important level to watch as we go into next week. Might be a target to trade towards depending on the action you see day to day. Of course, pay attention to the prior week low. If we breach that one again, we might see further downside as we are no longer time framing up in that case. On the other hand, you do see a good taper here at the bottom, so that looks quite okay. The only thing that concerns me about this particular bottom is that it's rather nicely lined up with this one. Okay, with that, let's move down the time frame. Oh, one more important observation. If you notice the pattern here, it's like head and shoulders. Definitely something to be aware of, keep an eye on. It's not something I will trade on as it's a larger time frame than what I do, but it can set the context clearly, so keep an eye on that as the weeks progress. You're looking at a weekly chart, so this might take quite some time. So zooming in on the daily chart, again I have this 50 retrace set up as an important point to watch. These blue triangles, they represent the ECB announcements. If you look back at my videos after the ECB, I mentioned these would be important levels, and indeed as we started testing downwards, it took us some days, but then eventually the real drop happened and volatility exploded. We have increasing volume going down. That was also clear on the weekly chart, and what's also a little bit concerning is that the participation is dropping as price is rising. That's not the best signal, but okay. And here you can quite clearly see we're in a balancing zone over here. So important next week where we open the week, because what I found pretty interesting, so the week basically started here. That's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and as you can see we put in a low on Thursday, and then we got this channel up, quite a nice channel, and we closed in the overnight during the US time. We closed at the high of the week. Of course the European official close is somewhere around here, I think, but that was still more or less the high of the week. So in 2 days time we established that we found buyers here, and till now we didn't see strong confirmation of sellers up here. So looking at this auction after hours, in the US market it was also an option expiration, and it looked more like a short squeeze at the end of the day than anything else. So depending on where we open on Monday, I do expect some kind of counter auction, testing below again, maybe towards this level or the value area high, with a definite support zone here on the low volume node at 488, which we have been bouncing between this one and more or less here the complete week. So if we confirm that we have buyers up here, then it's time to start looking upwards. We have some naked POCs ahead from the drop days, so from the 5th, from the 7th. So those are definitely targets to look at. And on the composite, again, you see a balancing zone here. High volume node, might be that we spend some time there. So I think that pretty much covers it. So the important areas definitely on Monday would be this area over here. See if we can maintain the auction above this one. Then I do expect during the week to at least touch this high volume node, and then eventually do the mid test, which is the one you see on the weekly chart as well. This really is an important level to watch. Should we come back down again, might be we spend more time in here, but I think we do have the energy to start moving away from this balancing zone. So in case we drop down, this is kind of a boxy area on the composite, and was also where we found the support, so above between 12,000 and 12,300. So we might be revisiting that and see what the auction brings us over there. Okay, I think that pretty much covers it for this week. So good luck, and keep an eye on your risk.